Welcome back, Powerhouse Pros. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are having a fun summer. Let me know what you're up to. Hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to. We have been kind of chilling around here. Younger son is away at sleepaway camp. He's going to be gone for 3 weeks, and I haven't heard from him in over a week, and it honestly feels very, very weird. I just look every day at the camp pictures that come through the app, and it's really cool. It has AI facial recognition technology. So it's weird. You upload a training image of your kid and the AI learns from one picture what they look like, and then it's able to locate them in any picture, no matter which direction they're looking. If they're in the background in a picture with 100 kids, there was a picture of my son swimming in like a big shadow and you couldn't even really see his face. Like as his mom, I wouldn't have noticed him in this picture, but AI found him, and I'm just like blown away by how cool that technology is. Otherwise, AI is a little, we're, checking into it. We're adopting AI in our business, and we actually released a really cool digital AI assistant training document. It's a PDF. It has a step-by-step approach for how you can train your own virtual assistant and have some inspiration for prompts you can use, get it to think like you and speak like you and write like you. Huge time saver. So we have that resource available. We'll put a link in the show notes. And yeah, we took a trip to Mammoth during the summer, rented e-bikes, got a pontoon boat, did this incredible hike to Mammoth Lakes, and brought our dog. And I have to say, seeing Lola in her red life vest on the pontoon boat was probably the cutest thing I've ever seen. Super fun. So, summer around here is in full swing, and I have been kind of taking it easy a little bit intentionally. So I hope that you have found some time to unwind a bit, decompress. I find that slower times, definitely August, end of the year, after holidays, tend to be slower times. Those are the times that I try not to pressure myself to do too much and really check into the slower pace, let it clear my head a little bit, and use that space, that white space, for some clarity around the direction I want my business to go in, my strategy moving forward, all the things that we tend to not really focus on when we're head down in the day-to-day. And so that's another thing we're going to talk about today, is this spare time spiral. That's what we call it. I'm going to explain what it is and talk about why your business growth might be a little bit stalled or not as fast as you would like. We are talented PR pros. We are staying ahead of the curve and learning about all of the changes and innovations that have been hitting our industry. And rather than fearing them, we're running towards them, adopting them, and really leaning in so that we could be at the front of the AI revolution as it relates to our industry, and integrating affiliate revenue opportunities as a seamless part of pitching, really focusing on performance PR, all the things that we know are on the horizon. So many members of our community are committed to professional development, growth. That's how they find me. That's how they find our programs. And, these are people that have a ton of talent, a lot of experience, clients that love them, but myself included, oftentimes growth has plateaued. And we're going to talk about why and how to break free from what I call the spare time spiral. So what that looks like is head down, client work. We know marketing is a priority as the CEOs of our company, but we're kind of in that not right now phase of how and when we decide to focus on marketing and promoting our own businesses. But then a contract ends and panic kind of sets in, because you're like, I don't have a lot of active leads in my pipeline. So then you start marketing again, and maybe you book a few calls, get into that place where you're thinking about your offerings and how you're going to position yourself and your agency as the right fit for these prospective clients. And you're feeling really good about the leads that you've generated, you book a few clients, you fill in that gap, and then that cycle repeats because you then are head down onboarding new clients and creating, new work and kind of not really feeling the need to get back to marketing and promoting your business. Here is why that's a problem. When we are in this cycle, it's reactive. It puts you in the, position of defense. And it is very stressful when you are in a situation where you have to fill your client roster because you lose an account or two or a retainer ends, and your pipeline is not really filled with any qualified active leads. And, I don't know about you, but our sales cycle, it takes a month, 2 months from the time we have a conversation with the client, sometimes longer, 3 or so months to get the contract signed and get them onboarded. So there is that period of time where you're kind of in this reactive, stressful panic where you are not really in control of your pipeline. You are only putting yourself out there and going for visibility when you're desperate. That is not how you grow. That's how you maintain and then sort of dip down when there's a bit of a lull, and then you ramp it back up and you're sort of at a level where you're not actually growing. You are not actually putting the pieces in place to build a successful sales and marketing engine for your business. And it's okay because I am in the same boat. I do that when things are going really well and we're like, yeah, everything's humming along. And then something happens with a client contract or we have the capacity to bring in more clients and it's like back to the drawing board. It's really common. It doesn't mean we're behind. It doesn't mean we're a bad business owner. It is just that we're in a cycle, in a system that just doesn't support growth. And there's a mindset shift. We always talk about, simple ways that you can rethink what you're doing or how you feel or what your position is on certain things so that you shift your mindset away from, like marketing is important. It's on the back burner. I don't have time to do it right now, or I'll get to that someday. Rather than that, it's not that you need more hours. It's that, visibility is not a luxury. Working on your marketing, getting your brand out in front of your potential clients is not a someday task. You need a system that runs even when you're busy, even when you're doing client work for your existing roster of accounts. And, as a CEO, marketing the business is a responsibility that we have. It's not a nice to have. It is a must have. And so I'm going to share with you 5 ways that you can escape this kind of spare time spiral. It is when you feel like there's just so many other things that have to be done that you're putting yourself as a client as the lowest priority. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I'll tell you where I am right now. My Generation PR website is pretty outdated. I don't even think we have a custom WordPress site, but the theme platform we use, I don't even think is supported anymore. And so I have a hard time updating it. We haven't added new press hits in years because it's just a really complex process and we've been working towards updating it. And I also have mentioned this before, but I realized that the contact form on my website was broken for at least 10 months, where I had people mention to me that they reached out through the website and I'm like, no, you didn't. I didn't get anything from you. And it took a while, embarrassingly long time, to realize that our website has been a great source of inbound leads and opportunities. People find us through SEO, which is fantastic. But I was missing all of those inquiries. And so that felt it was like, it's kind of quiet around here. But it didn't matter because we were, humming along with our existing clients. And I just didn't make it a priority. And that's when you have kind of a code red situation. I'm this is my reputation. If I have prospective clients, maybe they're referred by my existing contacts, somebody that's worked with me or knows me really well, they're vouching for us, and then someone reaches out and I don't respond, that seems really flaky. To me, that is like just horrible. Like when I figured out that the contact form was broken, I was like, oh my God, I wonder how many opportunities I missed, because those queries, those forms don't save anywhere. It just sends us an email, which in this case it didn't. So who knows what we missed? Super bummer. So we are in the process of updating the website, which I had a photo shoot. I had actually a 2-day photo shoot. I did a really cool concept with a classic car, like this really beautiful classic Porsche. And it's like this kind of old Hollywood feeling a bit, but the theme of it is like, get in, we're going places. And, the fact that we're celebrating our 20th year, we've been around like for decades. It's kind of this, with this classic car, it's like, we've been around a long time, but we're tried and true. We're battle tested. We're not going anywhere. And we're still super fast and super with it, when it comes to what's working in PR. So I really want to focus on the forward direction of what it's going to take now in the AI world, in the affiliate marketing world, as it relates to brand PR, which is what I do, and what we need to do for our clients in terms of performance PR and a process to compete at that level where it's not just traditional earned media tactics, but it's tying together all of these requirements now, to show up in search so that you can be mentioned in the recommendations in the AI models. And, having that affiliate piece is now essential. We've known that for years. Tying all of it together in a process that really helps us lead our clients to success with earned media, leveraging these new strategies, tie everything together, and we're the company to take them to the next level using these tactics that we know work and this proven process that we can implement. So for that, we're updating the copy, we're updating the offerings, and we're redesigning the whole site. So that's been really fun. The photo shoot was super fun, and working on the copy, it's just finally getting me to that place where I'm like, okay, 20 years in, I started my business in 2005. In March, it was officially 20 years. So it's like I'm at an inflection point. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to guide my clients? What do I want the next phase of my business to look like? And so that's really exciting to me. It feels really motivating, empowering. If you ever want to feel motivated to promote your business, as much as photo shoots really stress me out because it's a lot of moving around, it's a lot of moving parts, it's a lot of changing in the car, changing in a pop-up tent poncho thing in the middle of Beverly Hills while I'm walking around in a crowd of people, it's mortifying. But now we have these fantastic, branded images, and I want to use them. So it's kind of exciting. It's giving me that motivation and excitement to like really put in the effort to develop the new site, which requires us to really think about what we want to put out onto the site that will attract our ideal clients like a magnet. And from there, with these new images and whatnot, all of the assets that we're able to leverage across different platforms are going to follow. We'll have fresh copy that all just really puts out there what I want to draw in and attract in the business. So if you're kind of like, what do I do? I need to feel a little motivated. Do a branding photo shoot. It's a big investment, but you get a couple years worth of content. I usually leverage those assets for about 2 years. You run around in different outfits. It looks like it's different days, and really plan for it. Really create a shot list campaign, all of that, so that you have very clear direction and you make the most out of your time and your photographer's time and get branded assets that you're really proud of. Another sidebar, but that's really motivating me right now, and I wanted to share that. But I have other ways to escape this spare time spiral that will help you build a machine that is promoting your business consistently without you having to stop and think about it all the time. So the first thing I want you to do is choose one primary channel. Being everywhere is not it, right? It's too exhausting just because everybody's on Threads and TikTok and X and Facebook and Instagram and all the things doesn't mean you have to be everywhere. You want to be unforgettable somewhere, not forgettable everywhere. So pick a platform, whether it's Instagram, podcasting, YouTube channel, something that plays to your strengths, and really go all in and focus on being the best, showing up consistently on that primary channel. You can leverage those assets and use them in other places, but rather than creating new content for all these different channels or feeling like you have to optimize it for everything, we do the podcast. I record it with video. We put the video on the YouTube channel. We take clips and use those clips on other social platforms. I'm sure if there was a huge potential investment in a social media team, which I've had, but it wasn't converting in terms of new leads for the business. It was just like nice to have. So that was a decision to end that, expense in the business. And now we're creating, we have a bare minimum weekly flow, which for me is, one podcast that I record like this. And it is how I am committed to consistency when it comes to visibility. So what's the least you can do every single week to stay visible is that one email that you send out every week, which you can now train your Chat GPT to be your voice, to be your marketing assistant. We have, like I mentioned at the top of the call, phenomenal resource that is going to save you mass amounts of time. And it goes deep. It's not basic level stuff. Like, we are really creating a layered approach to how you can get a GPT to really sound like you. And so maybe you're saving time by having it start the email and then you're not sending it out as is, but you're really putting your personal touch on it. Maybe you commit to one post, or maybe it's one outreach email to a prospective client or to a former client, to stay connected, to be committed to visibility that is necessary to grow your business. And keep in mind, consistency is more important than intensity. It's not about going all in on all the platforms or being perfect and polished. I know a lot of people don't show up on social because they're seeing everybody else's content. They're content creators and they're editing and making, really incredible content that's very professional looking. Content creator wise, I look at the content we put out. It's not, to me, it doesn't have to be really polished. It has to just connect. Someone has to watch it or listen to it and feel seen and feel like it resonates with them on a personal level. Not that they're loving our content because it's perfectly shot in a studio. I'm in my house. My son's in his room on YouTube. He'll probably come out and ask me where his favorite snack is. My dog was barking earlier. It happens. This is real life. So I don't approach this like it has to be perfect. It has to be polished. That intensity is not necessary. It's all about consistency. Another thing you can do is build an evergreen library. Collect your greatest hits. We love case studies. I talk about case studies all the time. It is the best way to attract your ideal clients. We have deep dive lessons in how to create really compelling case studies that resonate, that move the needle. Ask for testimonials from existing clients or former clients. We have also in our programs ways that we talk about the best timing and templates for how to ask. It always helps if you offer to write it. Just because your clients are busy and you want to acknowledge that they're really busy, and you can let them know that you can give them a draft as like a starting point and they can edit it as they see fit, just to save them time. They always say yes. And then they always come back and say, looks great, no changes. So that way you can kind of control a little bit about what you would want that client to say about you, about their specific experience working with you. It's way more compelling coming from a client than it is us telling a prospective client what it's like working with us. Any past posts that performed really well, look and see what had the most engagement, what really connected, what people maybe sent around and forwarded or reposted that really clicked with them. Go through your whole history and look and see and pull those past posts. I don't want you having to reinvent the wheel every single day or every single week on social. Go look at what's working, take those assets, reshare them again, because not everybody that follows you has seen that the first time. And if they did, they might not remember. Or if they did and they remember, it's probably because they liked it. And then they're going to see it again and go, oh yeah, that was really cool. Or we have a whole file of testimonials. Mostly I have testimonials on the agency side, but the volume of testimonials that we have on the Generation Academy side is so awesome. It's so compelling. We get unsolicited feedback and people are always sharing how the programs that they're enrolled in have had an immediate and positive impact on their businesses and their confidence and their retainer fees, all the very specific ways that they've been able to level up in their business or their mindset using the strategies that we share. I have if anyone at all over the last 10 years has ever sent any kind of feedback about any of our programs, I've clipped a screenshot of it. We have an entire spreadsheet log talking about which programs, who said it, what did they say, because we use them in different ways, sometimes on sales pages, sometimes on social media posts, and having it set up in a way where we know what we want to share. Like if we're talking about a resource that we have and somebody shares specifically that proposal template really up-leveled their revenue in their business, and we want to include that on the sales page where we're talking about that proposal template bonus, we know exactly where to pull that quote. So it helps to start a cataloging process or like a folder and put them all in and have a naming convention so you can find what you're looking for. But those are your greatest hits. Having those at the ready so that you can pull from them when you need them or look. Even honestly, sometimes I'll look and it'll like put me in a good mood. It's like a little dopamine hit of positivity. Makes me feel really grateful and connected to our community. But you could go through these assets and it could spark additional ideas or just pull from them and go in Canva, have a template set up and just change out the text and slap it up there and don't think twice about it, but show up consistently. Your future self will thank you when you collect your greatest hits and you build an evergreen library of content that you can just pull from. Also, separate CEO time from client time. Even if you block just 1 hour a week, check in, follow up, optimize whatever it is, on what is happening inside your business, not just client communications. Really focus on what strategies you are working on, what you need to implement in order to, continue your education so that you're ahead of the curve on certain innovations in our industry. Or you are working on, SEO optimized blog post for your website that'll work off of potential clients searching for a certain type of answer that would be relevant to the work that you provide, the service that you offer. And you're working on, maybe one blog post that's going to draw in your ideal customer maybe once a month, like set it up as if it's an appointment, because when you're only working in your business and not on your business, on your strategic growth, on building a team that is healthy and productive and has processes in place for onboarding the team, onboarding clients, client communications, monthly reporting, setting up these processes will save you so much time in the long run rather than having to kind of reinvent the wheel every single time you're doing a specific task in your business. Record yourself doing something as a process so that the team can take you out of the equation if you go on vacation and run that process without you. This is what it means to work on your business. And if you only work in the business, the day-to-day execution, the client strategies and implementation, you're never going to grow. You just never are going to grow. Also, don't go it alone. Support in your business. It doesn't mean that you have a huge team. You have to commit to multiple salaries and benefits and all of this expense and a large team to support you. Even if you use virtual assistants or like AI, we have that training process. When you go through that process, which will take you an hour max, probably less. It's literally a step-by-step approach. You have now created a virtual employee, essentially, that will help you save so much time and really take you out of, think about writing an email response to a client. You're training AI to think like you, to serve clients in the tone and the way that you would support them. A client asks a question. For me, I would normally sit and really think about it. I would spend a lot of time trying to get the right words. Now you can craft a prompt to your trained AI and kind of tell it summary, what the gist of what you would say to the client is. You can have it iterate and come back with different, you can ask for certain tone. You can tell it, everybody's saying now M dashes, those long dashes in between kind of thoughts in a sentence. They see M dashes and they think, oh, that came from AI, which is so frustrating because I've always written with M dashes. I don't know why. It's just like how my brain thinks. I use ellipses a lot and I use M dashes. So now I'm like, okay, if I write in my normal tone, it's going to look like AI. You can tell it, do not use M dashes. So it's just there for you. And anytime you have an idea of like, oh, I got to sit and write a response to this client or a follow-up to the team, why don't I try it on AI and see, on my trained GPT and see what it comes up with? Start there. You can always, and you will make it your own, but AI templates, even having mastermind buddies, that is support in your business. You get additional eyes on some of your projects. You get a sounding board to ask people, am I crazy? Or how would you approach this? What would you say if a client asked you this? All of that is so helpful and doesn't really cost anything. You just need to stop doing everything by yourself. You cannot do everything by yourself, and nor should you. And I used to feel like I had to hold on to every dollar coming in my business because I was at the time when I started trying to replace my salary as a lawyer. And I felt like I would only be successful in PR when I surpassed my income as an attorney. And so I wasn't quite getting to that place. I hit like a ceiling and I wasn't able to break past it. And then I had a really phenomenal early mentor tell me, less Jen equals more money. When you bring in team members to do stuff that is beyond your pay grade, like it's not worth your time, it's not the level where you are, you need to be focusing on the business, not in the business. When I brought in a team, our revenue had quantum growth. It was, I don't know, what was like 3 to 4x from one year to the next, because I was able to focus on strategies to grow the business, business development, client outreach, lead the ship essentially, right? So don't go it alone. Let me recap my 5 ways that you can escape this spare time spiral, because I got news for you. You're always going to be busy. There's never going to be just a chunk of time where you're like, oh, look at that. I've got the whole day to myself. Why don't I work on my marketing now? You need to treat it like it's a client of your own and put it in the calendar and commit to it. So you're going to choose one primary channel, go all in on one platform, one media type that really plays to your strengths. You're going to create a bare minimum weekly flow. What is the least you can do? Literally the very least, one single focused piece of content where you show up and you stay visible every single week. Pull your greatest hits, your testimonials and case studies, build an evergreen library in Google Drive, and just have all these assets you can pull from, past posts that perform well so that you have that at the ready. Separate CEO time from client time. Even if it's just an hour a week, you really need to check in on the health of the business, the health of your client pipeline, making sure that your existing clients are happy and supported and they're staying in the door so that you have a solid foundation of consistent, predictable, recurring retainer revenue that you can build on with all of these marketing efforts that you're going to make. You don't want to constantly lose a client and then try to get new ones. You want to keep the clients you have and try to increase the services you're providing to existing clients, because that's actually a very not easy, but easier way. Is the existing clients love you, they know the quality of your work, and you're in their business, and you can let them know, I really think that you could benefit from having an affiliate program audit and optimization, and then we can run it for you every single month. Now you're in the business and you're really providing a lot of value to them. You've just increased the scope of work, and you can obviously, bring in new clients with these strategies. And then, of course, you are not going to go it alone. We also have our community. We have an incredible private Slack channel for the members of the Pitch Lab. We share new business leads that come our way that are, going to be a great fit for somebody in our community. We have a brainstorming lounge. People can upload their pitches, their whatever, social media posts, or something that they're questioning themselves on, and get like a kind of gut check or like a mindset refresh or shift. You do not have to do everything by yourself, nor should you. Right? So I just want to recap. Your growth hasn't stalled because you're not good at business. You're not a good enough business owner. It has maybe stalled or plateaued because your marketing tends to stop when the client work starts. And you deserve a business that grows sustainably without that panic feeling of crap. We lost a client. We lost that revenue. Our team needs something to do. Got to get back out there and look to fill the pipeline. It doesn't have to be that way in this panic feeling. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Marketing is not optional. It is an essential part of growing a successful, sustainable business. So I want you to think about one habit that you'll implement this week to escape this spare time spiral. If you need help in your agency so that you can escape this feeling, this hamster wheel of trying to bring in new clients only when you lose a client, and then ramp up the marketing and fill the pipeline, and then you get the client and then you stop marketing altogether, you're not ready to hire an assistant, that is where you need the agency assistant. This is our new collection of powerhouse prompts that is designed to help you outsource overwhelm. Outsource it to the robots. Let AI handle it. And we have how to train the GPT to think like you and sound like you, and prompts on topics ranging from handling tricky client situations to providing social media, content support, pitching support, and it is awesome. We've been working on it for a really long time. This is our second product that we've released around AI. It blows the first one away. It blows it away. It's super fantastic, and the value is beyond. It's really awesome. So you can grab it at generationacademy.com/assistant. That's generationacademy.com/assistant. And this is our agency AI assistant. And if this resonated with you, I want to hear it. Send me a DM on Instagram or post in our free Powerhouse Pros Facebook group. There's thousands of members all over the world, totally free. When I say it is the nicest, most helpful, collaborative community of PR professionals online, I am so proud of that, because typically our industry is not so open and sharing of our, closely held secrets and ways that everybody does things, contacts and strategies. This group is like, yeah, I got a contact for there. Oh yeah, let me take a look at it and I'll help you. I mean, it's incredible. So that's the Powerhouse Pros Facebook group. Go ahead and post in there. We'd love to hear from you, and go out there and crush it this week. You got this. Go kick some butt. Schedule your CEO time in your business and start pulling your greatest hits on social, some testimonials from clients, and I'll be here crushing it too. I will see you next week on the Pitching Powerhouse Podcast. All right, guys, take care.